Good evening, guys. Thank you so much. Let's get into it. It's what? Tuesday, Happy Women's Day, the 9th of August, 2002. Watindi Mbokodo. Watindi Bafas, Watindi Mbokodo. Rather, thank you so much. I hope you had an amazing day and you are looking forward to rock and roll with me. As usual, we come live from 7:30 to yes, of course, 7:30 to 8 o'clock. You chill with me. Don't go anywhere. Tell them that Chile is live. We're going to talk about structuring of wealth. We're going to be talking about the usual questions. I'll be taking questions from you. Challenge me, share questions with me, give me some thumbs up if you really enjoy my content. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Stick around. Can you stick around and give me questions, please? All I want you guys is to stick around and give me questions. I want your questions. I want to talk to you about these wealth structuring hacks. What do we do in structuring wealth? Of course, in the main, we talk about property investing. How was your day, by the way? How was your holiday? I spent my holiday on site. I'm busy renovating one property that we're looking at putting students in it. So there's a bit of renovation going on that just started today. So you can imagine going running around, driving and buying items. So what have you been up to today? Please share with me and talk to me and say, what have you been up to? I'm taking questions, of course. Please share with me what you want to know. I want to talk to you. I want to answer your questions, and I'm looking forward to engaging with you. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Quick questions. Say good evening to me, guys. Be nice and say good evening to you, and good evening to you, Chile boy. Good evening to you and everyone who's at home. What is your first question that you want to talk to me about? I've got one question that is coming from TikTok. I think it's some Tembo say, can you add a property that is in another country into a trust registered in another country? Hey, Mr. Mtembu is talking about serious stuff. He's talking about wealth that is sitting in another continent. I think what we need to establish, first of all, is where is the tax residency of Mr. Mtembu, because he needs to be careful in a sense that if he's a beneficiary of that particular trust in that foreign country, then he needs to start thinking about what will then be the tax implications of his distributions that he'll be getting from that foreign trust in South African tax system. Is Mr. Mtembu the South African tax resident? I don't know, Mr. Mtembu, maybe you want to tell me where you are. But anyway, so if Mr. Mtembu, the property is in that foreign country, yes, you can register the ownership of that foreign property in that foreign trust. Of course, I mean, if you start thinking about hedging, if you want to be a global citizen, guys, how many of you guys consider yourself global citizen and have another understanding of what global citizen means? Because the reality is that you and I, our children or our grandchildren, or for that matter, even some of you guys might already be more mobile, that you are even thinking of immigrating. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now you're becoming so mobile that you're becoming multi-countries citizens. But the tax residency status is something else, okay? And we don't want to get it that complicated, okay? Now, I think to top it up, that is that, can South African trust buy wealth or buy property in this context of our discussion tonight? Can South African trust buy in the main other assets in another country? I think that's the conversation that you and I need to deliberate also there and there. So Zakaria, how you doing, my brother? Good evening to you and Mziwake, George, Kaka Kokwani. Sorry, I hope I'm not butchering your surname there, right there. It just didn't feel right how I pronounce it. I hope you're doing very well. Let's see what Zakaria is saying. What are the catastrophic consequences to the trust if the trustees dies or become insolvent? Hey, did you have to use the catastrophic? Zakaria, I see you there with your term big words. I think for my situation is that when a trustee dies, right? He or she needs to be replaced. It's just simple as that. Okay? Yes, you need to be replaced by another trustees. Then we'll then prepare the documents for amendment. Of course, it's a wealth structuring, guys, because trust is one of instrument. It's one of many instruments that is important in structuring your wealth. Okay, so which means that you'll need to prepare the documents. You need to come to the likes of Intergen, and then we help you to do the amendments of the trust deed, which means then we need to go to the master, respective master. If your trust is sitting in Johannesburg, then we need to do the master of Johannesburg. If the trust is sitting in Pretoria, we need to go there and do the changes of trustees. That is correct. And of course, remember, you'll recall that you can't be a trustee if you're sequestrated. Okay, so already that person needs to be removed, because otherwise that trust won't have capacity to act. Yes, the trustees cannot act, because you'll know that then the trustees, you may find that they are actually not meeting the minimum requirements of being capacitated to act on behalf of the trust estate. And this goes back, guys, when it comes to structuring of your wealth, it's also crucial that you understand your trust deed. When last did you read your trust deed? If you've got a trust deed right now, or you've got a trust that formed the trust previously, when last did you read your trust deed? I think that's the question that I'm going to put it back to you. When last did you read your trust deed? Equally so, when last did you read Memorandum of Incorporation? Since you got that Memorandum of Incorporation from the CIPC, you never bothered to know what it entails. You don't even know how to constitute the meeting of the board of the directors, for that matter. So please go back and read the MOI, read trust deed, read your wills, read your insurance policies, understand them. Because if you're going to want to understand how you're going to have generational wealth and how you're going to structure it, and you don't read such kind of documents, you and I can agree that we are actually preparing a recipe for catastrophic consequences, if I may use those words from Zachariah. Zachariah, I hope you're going to go and read some of those documents. I'm waiting for your questions, guys. Come, questions. And as you are waiting and to deliberate on what other questions you want to see, here's Louis from TikTok. He say, if you put property into a holding company and you die, can your children go on with the operating company without paying capital gain tax? That's structuring of wealth. Guys, let's put it this way. The first point of call is the fact that we need to respect the separation between the company and myself. I exist independent of that particular holding company that Louis is talking about. I definitely exist, okay? And by virtue of my independent existence, the only thing that in the context of Louis, what he's mentioning here, is the fact that I'm a shareholder of that particular holding company. Would you agree with me? Okay. Now, the only thing that will be part of my estate is in the main, the value of the shares that I own in my hand or in my estate. Would you agree with me that then that particular property that is Louis is talking about, that is sitting in the holding company, will not be subject to any form of tax implications, because that would have been taken into account when has no relationship whatsoever with my passing. Okay, so the only thing that will be play a role once I passes on will be the capital gain tax implications of the shares that I own. That will be part of the joint, will be part of the deceased estate upon my passing. So that is what we need to differentiate. Only the shares will matter more than the property itself that was transferred into the holding company. And that's the beauty about it, because then your children are able to run your business going forward. And that's a continuity of structuring the wealth. It brings that continual. Remember, I think one of these days we're comparing the the advantages and disadvantages between the trust and the company. And we spoke about the continuity that comes with structures like trust and companies. It provides you with that continuity, which is great, which is amazing. Would you agree with me? Yes. Okay, cool. Now let's see what's Mzwaiki. Okay, before I go to Mzwaiki, let me just quickly and see what other people are saying. Okay, before I go there, let me just check something here. Mziwaki, I'll come to you. Let me see the other questions. Okay, maybe let me go to Mziwaki. Let me see. Please assist with the following. Hey, so many questions, Mziwaki. What is the role of independent trustee? Guys, there is a question. This question is actually answered. That question is actually, if you check on my Mziwaki, not that I'm lazy to answer that question, but I did a huge detailed video on the role of independent trustee. If you check one of my videos within my YouTube, it's actually there. It's easy. Just go there, you'll see what the role of independent trustee is. What is the role? Okay, who can be appointed as an independent trustee? Look, in the main, the independent trustee is someone who doesn't have vested interest in the trust estate, in a sense that from the benefits point of view. And you will agree with me that you also need someone who's independent in mind and independent in appearance. If I'm a husband of one of the beneficiaries, would you agree with me that pretty much I'm not, as much as I'm not a beneficiary of that trust, but I'm the husband of one of the beneficiaries, would you agree with me that I'm not pretty much independent? Okay, so the judgment might be influenced. Okay, so those are some of the things that you just need to be mindful of when you appoint an independent trustee. And in the main, you want to appoint people that are in the profession of acting, or rather of in a fiduciary duties profession. And this is where the likes of Intergen comes in, because Intergen also act as independent trustees for trust. Okay, so you also want to utilize people that understand the laws around the functioning of trust and are able to guide you in terms of the services. It does not necessarily have to be an accountant or a professional lawyer. I think for me is about hiring someone that has a certain skill set that can be beneficial for a trust. But then you find that in the main, there are professional accountants like myself, and then other professional lawyers that comes together and form companies like the likes of Intergen, then start taking the roles of independent trustees and fiduciary duties across all various platforms, where sometimes we act also as independent directors of specific. By the way, if you want an independent director, I'm available. So I still have capacity to actually act. So that's basically what Mziwaki, who can actually be an independent trustee. It just needs to be someone who's independent outsider from the other remaining trustees, and the beneficiaries should not be conflicted, and the conflict of interest should be safely guarded and actually managed, because otherwise then you are not going to be seen. Yes, you're not going to be seen as an independent trustee. Okay, I hope you are answered, and you can give me a thumbs up if you are answered. Every one of you guys, if you really enjoyed and how so far the content, you can give me a thumbs up. There's a thumbs up at the bottom, and also you can subscribe to the YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube channel, and of course share the YouTube channel with your friends and colleagues. Yes, and of course keep holding those questions. Keep holding questions, and then let's interact. I know it's a holiday, but you know what? Let's keep working. Let's keep working. I won't keep you long. We are going to be together until 8 o'clock. Someone says, Nane says, can I move my life insurance to a trust? Who wants to answer this? Mziwaki, are you there? Do you want to answer this question for me? Can I move my life insurance to a trust? Who wants to ask that? Where's Vincent? Vincent, do you want to answer that question? Zakaria, do you want to answer the question? Talk to me. Before I answer it, let's see what you guys say. Nane is asking, can I move my life insurance to a trust? What would you tell Nane? Let me see if you guys know this. We're creating wealth structuring. We guiding on how to go about structuring of wealth. What would you tell Nani? Can I move my life insurance to a trust? What would you tell Nani? Talk to me. Let's see. Quick one. We don't have too much time. Let's see. We don't have enough time. Mziwaki says, oh, Washili boy. Oh my word. Okay, so Mziwaki doesn't want to what do you call it? I see you. Okay, so clearly people are not about to gamble. Come on, just gamble. What did you tell this person? Okay, guys, let's look at the issue of life policy. In the main, people do life policy for various reasons, and one of them is to ensure that there's a liquid, your disease asset is liquid, right? That is one of the reasons. And one of the reasons also is to ensure that the beneficiaries or your heirs and your litigees are well taken care of beyond your existence of life. Would you agree with me? And I think that is the starting point. So you'll ideally want a situation where when that life insurance policy payout comes, when the time comes that it has to be paid out, you will want it to be paid out in a situation where it's quite not going to delay the well-being of your kids. Okay. Of course, we don't want the situation where your kids potentially become one of the contestant or one of the guests on I Blew It show, so-called I Blew It. We don't want them to blow the money, right? You'll imagine, I mean, you've got a life policy of 10 million and you've got a child who's just a teenage, or who's just 21 years old, never seen 100,000, and then they've got 100 million or 10 million in their bank account. That's quite scary, right? That can actually overwhelm them, that you may find that they're not financially equipped, or then they're not equipped to actually handle such kind of money, right? And then as a result, they might actually not manage their affairs. So a trust comes into play where you make a trust beneficiary. You can actually make a trust a beneficiary, or for that matter, a trust can also take on life policy on your behalf in such a way that it becomes a beneficiary, and then the money gets paid out. When you pass on, the money gets paid out directly into a trust. How does that help? It helps because then you bypass the issue of that money being subjected to executor's fee. Will Intergen like that? I don't think Intergen will like that, but it's good for you. So you can think about that, because Intergen wouldn't make money when we're doing disease estate administration, right? So we'll want that. But then the ideal way is to make sure that that particular payout goes directly to a nominate beneficiary, and in this context, that particular trust. And I think that's pretty much how and want to do it. And then your kids, even during that time when the disease estate is still being winded up, your kids can still benefit and have something to be taken care of, instead of having to wait for disease estates to be administered, and only then when your kids are able to have access to wealth. Would you agree with me? So yeah, that is Nane. I hope you answered. And Mziwaki, I hope I hope you get tomorrow. You'll be able to answer Nane. You can give me a thumbs up if you're really happy with it. There's a button, like button at the bottom of screen, and you can actually share with everyone. Okay, so somebody says, can you advise on how to create a trust? I think, okay, let's see is it advisable to have an accountant if I only have one? Yes, you have to have an accountant. Remember, an accountant has nothing to do, just guys, you need to also be careful, Mziwaki. Has nothing to do with just you. It is not an issue of the size of your portfolio. It's actually important in necessary to grow. If you've got a right accountant, the accountant can actually add value in terms of your growth, right? The potential way of of growing, right? And I think that's very crucial, guys. What does an accountant actually do or contribute to your growth? If you've got an accountant that add value in terms of you doing a tax planning, that is number one, where they're even able to prepare you from cash flow point of view, where you know when you need to go be paying your obligations like SARS, you know in time where you are in terms of owing SARS. That's number one of the benefits. One of the second benefits might be to assist you to be submitting your tax returns that you might not be equipped to actually submit them, right? Number three might also be the issue of annual financial statement and monthly management accounts that you are not equipped or trained to actually prepare such documents, and to take you through an understanding through such documents. What do they mean and how to read them? And they sit down with you and tell you the story of your performance of your business. You're going to need an accountant when you're going to buy that particular, the second property, Mziwake. You're going to need one, right? You're going to need one because they're going to ask you to have things like solvency letters that your accountant must prepare. Who are you going to come? You have to come to Tax Edu ZA, which is an accounting firm. By the way, Tax Edu ZA, guys, you see it here, is an accounting firm. So if you need an accountant, you can WhatsApp me right away and say, Shili boy, I need an accountant. Then I'm more than happy to actually assist you under Tax Edu ZA. Is an accounting firm, tax and accounting firm specialized in that. So I sent my number. My number is there, 074 5896439. You can WhatsApp me if you're looking for an accountant. That's really up to you to decide if you wanna be under the ambit of Tax Edu ZA. Okay, I hope you answered, Mziwake. Let me see what other, if you guys have got another question, I'm more than happy to take it, but otherwise I'll look what other people are saying. So Pumi said, what are the tax implications I decide to sell the property? Okay, maybe let's assume Ayanda, because I think her name is Pumi Ayanda, something like that. So let's assume it's in her personal name and it's an investment property. So then the typical tax will be capital gain tax implications. Then if this property, Pumi, for you, it's a primary residence, then you might actually be, you are going to be, can be eligible for up to 2 million capital gain exclusion for primary residence if that house was particular property was utilized as a primary residence. So Pumi might be actually entitled to such exclusion. So those are typically some of taxes that, or some of tricks that she needs to be aware of. Of course, also we need to understand if she's in trading of properties. Is someone who flips properties, buy and tomorrow they sell the properties. So such person will be taxed as a revenue in nature, which means that a going 28% rate, capital income tax rate, if they're in the company, they'll be taxed at that. But if she's in a person, she's doing that in her personal name, then she's going to be taxed at the going marginal tax rate that is applicable in her case. Okay, I hope you are answered. But just make sure that you've got an accountant again. You see now, Mziwake, that's another thing. If you sell your property, you wouldn't even know what to disclose to SARS. Now you're going to be running around wasting your time. Well, you could be just sending all the documents to Tax Edu ZA, and then they deal with all the admin, and then you just focus in creating wealth. Sometimes we must dwell into things that we're good at and delegate the rest of things that we're just not trained for, so that we save time and we leverage our time. Guys, time is money. Time is number one resource that you can utilize to create wealth. So use it wisely, use it smartly. You don't want to be jack of all and you end up actually not delivering at the end of the day. Okay, guys, if you are enjoying this and you've learned so much, you can give me a thumbs up. At the bottom of the video, there's a thumbs up, and then you can share the content, guys. Share my YouTube with your contacts. I'll encourage you guys because you want to empower people around you, right? So you're going to have to go and share the content with people in your community that you know will benefit. One more last question, guys, before it's 2 minutes to 8. One more last question that I can take it from you. Let's use this for me, because I see that they're coming thick and fast from TikTok. So, but I want to use this opportunity to answer from you guys. Let's see. Do you have one last question? Zioake, George, Vincent, anyone for last question? 1, 10, 9. Okay. So otherwise I'll go to, if you don't have, someone says, who was somewhere in Africa, that's the TikTok handle, says, who will you recommend for opening a trust in SA? I'll recommend Intergen. That's so funny. I'll definitely recommend Intergen to if you want to open a trust, if you want to form a trust, come to Intergen. My number is on the comment section, guys. You're more than welcome to reach out to Intergen, and we can definitely do the administration and registration for in your case. And then I think for me, it's about that. I say thank you so much for being with me. I appreciate your time, and yes, I appreciate your time. Let's meet again tomorrow from 7:30 to 8 o'clock. So it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 7:30 to 8 o'clock. We meet and we discuss. So always make sure that you've got questions, guys. And immediately when I jump in, you hold questions. That would be interesting and that would be engaging. I think one of the days also I must invite one of you guys to come and join me on Zoom, and then we can directly speak to each other. That would also be interesting. So, but other than that, thank you so much, and keep what?